This Family Life News podcast is made possible by the support of listeners like you.
Welcome back to another edition of Hometown Heroes on Family Life. I'm Mark Webster, and this week's guest is Dan Miller, a Southern Tier pastor who, along with his wife Elaine, has been volunteering for many years with Wreaths Across America, a program that honors America's war dead by placing wreaths on the graves of service personnel in national cemeteries, including those in Bath and Elmira, New York. He spoke with our Greg Gillespie.
It is a national program and has been a national program since about 2007. Had been on a smaller scale before that, but in 2007 they went national because it had become such a popular program across the country. Their mission is to remember the fallen, honor those who serve, and teach our children the value of freedom. And the theme this year is Live with a Purpose.
And the project here has literally wreaths spread across large sections of national cemeteries. How big of a project is that here in Bath, New York?
Well, Greg, in 2022, 3,700 wreaths were laid at the Bath National Cemetery, and the goal for this year is 6,000 wreaths at the Bath Cemetery. They also do this at the Woodlawn Cemetery in Elmira, and I'm not sure what their numbers are there.
And so these wreaths, where do they come from, and who are the people who place them?
Well, this originated in the state of Maine in a small community there. I'm not exactly sure where all the wreaths come from at this time, but the vast majority of them, I think, still come out of that location. The wreaths are placed totally by volunteers who are aware of this and come on a particular day and are involved in the placing of the wreaths at the various cemeteries.
What significance does that have for you to be someone who has been involved in that over the past several years? Tell us about your personal motivation and how meaningful this is for you.
Well, my father was in the Navy in World War II. I was in the Navy during the Vietnam War. My son is in the Air Force. I've had a grandson in the Marines and another grandson in the Army, so we have a very active family background with the services. So that's a lot of my motivation is for that, but just the whole idea of keeping the service of veterans before the people, whether it's at Wreaths Across America or on Memorial Day or Veterans Day, is something that's very important to me personally.
Are they still looking for volunteers to be there and take part in this Saturday?
Sure, that will be this Saturday, and it begins at noon with a short ceremony at the base of the cemetery, and then they disperse across the grounds of the cemetery to lay wreaths one at a time at the various graves. And yes, volunteers do not need to sign up, they just need to show up at 12 on Saturday morning, and there's parking. You can't drive up into the cemetery itself because it would be too congested, but there's parking below there, and shuttle buses are available to take people to the cemetery.
Do you know of you mentioned the two, Woodlawn and Bath. Are there others in our region, Pennsylvania, New York, who are also involved with this now?
I imagine that most national cemeteries are involved in this, and I think there may be a cemetery in Canandaigua that may also be doing this. Elaine and I have been doing this for at least 6 or 8 years now, and we've done it with our small group from church before. We've done it with our children and grandchildren, and we look at it as an opportunity to really, as the mission says, to educate our children about the value of freedom, and we've always enjoyed doing it. I would just say one thing: if you do go, check the weather forecast and make sure you dress for the weather, because if there's snow on the ground, of course you deal with all the things of winter. So I've gone a couple of times and wishing I had dressed a little warmer for the conditions. If I can just say one more thing, if people are interested in more specific information, the website is Wreaths Across America. That's pretty simple to remember. And there is information on there more about the organization and an opportunity for people to sponsor a wreath. I think it's $17 to sponsor a wreath. And it may or may not be too late to do that for this year, but just in case somebody wants to go and check that out.
Wreaths Across America is the website.
Wreaths Across America, yes.
Dan Miller, thank you so much for joining us today.
Sure. Sure thing.
That's Dan Miller, a Southern Tier pastor who, along with his wife Elaine, has been volunteering for many years with Wreaths Across America, honoring America's fallen heroes every Christmas season by placing wreaths on the graves of service personnel in national cemeteries, including Bath National Cemetery and Woodlawn National Cemetery in Elmira, New York. He spoke with our Greg Gillespie. Please join us again next time as we search for your home, your town, your hero. It's Hometown Heroes on Family Life.
Thank you for listening to this Family Life News podcast. If you've been encouraged by what you've heard, please share it with others and click the subscribe button to automatically receive future episodes. Family Life is a listener-supported ministry. Podcasts like this are made possible by your financial partnership. Find out more at familylife.org.